We're less than 2 weeks away from the House coming back for the spring sitting, and already we're starting to see signs of what the three parties are going to push, both in terms of narrative for themselves, as well as ideas they'll present to the public.
Right, let's start with the third party in the House, the NDP, down to just 4 seats. They'll continue to push the poverty agenda. I think that they stay true to who they are. A new thing that they're going to be trying to gain some traction with is the idea that rents are so high. We've heard them talk about the need for rent control in this province, but they really want to push that forward into what they think is a winning formula for them, and that is the fact that so many people are struggling so hard to simply keep a roof over their head, especially when it comes to rents.
Yeah, particularly here in Halifax, which is an area that they need to grow if they are to get back up from, as you say, just 4 seats. The Tories had their AGM last weekend, and it was very much a rallying of the troops kind of vibe, perhaps even with tones of getting ready for an election if one gets called early. We saw leader Tim Houston announce plans to introduce legislation that would facilitate ride-sharing programs all across the province, things like Uber and Lyft. But we also know they'll be hammering on healthcare, as they always have. Another issue, though, that they think they might have a winner with and that they plan to pursue is the perceived lack of transparency when it comes to this government. They point to issues such as the lack of openness about the management fee paid to Bay Ferries, the delisting of Owl's Head Provincial Park, and this recent controversy that we've seen about the proposed parking garage for the new QE2 here in Halifax over on Summer Street. The Tories think that there is hay to be made on that, and so look for them to really press that issue.
Right. And on the government side of the House, Stephen McNeil, as he has in the past couple of years, is keeping his cards very close to his vest. The Liberals not sharing publicly what their agenda will be, other than it's springtime, you need a budget. They'll be tabling another budget.
And that budget will be balanced.
Yes. But what will be interesting is to see whether or not included in that budget are goodies as we ramp up for a possible election call. Some have suggested, and you and I have been called a number of times saying, look, an election is coming in year 3 rather than year 4. We'll get a real sense of that in this budget.
Well, and as you say, the budget may provide some details. Even if it doesn't, other parties are getting ready just in case. The Tories have launched a new ad that very much has a campaign vibe to it, designed to build Tim Houston's profile. According to the party, it's the most money they've ever spent on an ad outside of an election year. And all parties are busy behind the scenes trying to line up candidates just in case. The government, meanwhile, potentially has some other chips that they can cash in if an election is called early. Work is starting soon on new hospitals. You can't go outside the Halifax area without coming across a highway twinning project somewhere. They've recently started rolling out the money to expand high-speed internet to rural communities. And of course, this week, the Premier and his Education Minister are announcing the completion of their 4-year promised rollout of pre-primary.
In the meantime, whether we're into a general election or not this year, the 3 parties are gearing up for 2 by-elections, and those are going ahead. In fact, if we sit here long enough, we may have new members by the end of the sitting.